AlexJonesLive.com. Tomorrow's news today.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
We all tend to get caught up in the minutiae of all the different political and cultural developments. And there's a lot of negativity, a lot of dark things happening in the world, but there's also a lot of really good, positive things happening. And I just wanted to reach out to all the listeners and viewers and tell you how much I appreciate you and how amazing you are, every race, color, and creed, that love liberty and freedom and believe in our species and believe in God, believe in a better future. We've done so many incredible things as a species together, and we've got even greater things that we're going to do together. You know, we're told we're obsolete and that AI is better than us, when really it's just a reflection of things that we've created and things we've done. And we ourselves are just a reflection of God, made in God's image. We're not God, but we have the potentiality to really just envision and then build anything we can imagine. And we've proven that. So God doesn't make trash. God.
Yeah, I swear to God, man, we need to bring God back into the equation, man. Because as much as, you know, the MAGA guys like to say, oh, we're bringing Christianity back. No, you're not. I'm gonna be honest with you. You guys are bringing open bigotry back, and you're protecting it on the guidelines of Christianity. Let's be honest with you guys. I'm be like dead ass. We're gonna have this talk another night, but yeah, this whole hiding behind Christianity to practice open bigotry is disgusting, and Jesus would absolutely be ashamed of you.
Report, as well as, of course, the memorandum of understanding between America and Iran. Huge show today. We'll be joined by Carl Benjamin and Frank Wright later in the show to talk about the impact that this rape gang inquiry is going to have.
Hey, shout out to my man User. Appreciate the support, bro. He says, I'm not drunk, I'm just drinking. Hey, and I hope you're having a good time, my friend, man. Shout out. And let me go ahead and give you that shout out.
Razor blade in your
All right. Wait, we'll make sure the sound's actually good. All right, guys, let's get right back into it. Oh, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you've got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to super chat it in, send in a Venmo or a PayPal to double your support towards a call-in, guys. Let's get right back to it.
On the UK government and what we can do to achieve justice, if such a thing is even possible. I'm Harrison Smith, sitting in for Alex Jones. We'll be back in 90 seconds. A week vacation up in the mountains. What a week it's been. I sort of hesitate to say I'm happy to be back, because the news we're going to cover today is nothing to be happy about, is one way to put it. The rape gang inquiry report out of the UK has been published thanks to the efforts of Rupert Lowe and the Restore Party. And it's more disturbing than you can possibly imagine. We will be covering that extensively today. We have some incredible guests out of the UK, such as Carl Benjamin and Frank Wright, who are going to be joining us to break down what effect this is going to have, and if it's even possible to get justice for this level, this scale of criminality. But what I'm not going to do is spend the whole show simply reading the most egregious and horrifying portions of the rape gang inquiry. We are going to do that a little bit, obviously, to give it context, and viewer discretion advised for this entire show because of the contents of this report, the contents of reality that we have to contend with. But it's not going to be simply the most horrifying examples one after another. I could do that. I could spend the entire show simply reading verbatim out of the inquiry report. And it's just, again, I don't have words. It is beyond description. What's being described here. And in fact, that's why I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the details of the individual attacks. And we'll bring you the details. I'll tell you what they are, but we're not going to, revel in it, because it's just one aspect of what actually is going on. And we need to zoom out and look at this for what it is, which is an attack on our way of life, a genocidal attack against the people of the UK, and how it is part and parcel with the New World Order that was created after World War II. It's all one. It's all pieces of one giant attack, and we'll break that down. Like, I'm going to break down how this ties into the creation of the NHS and the Tavistock Institute, born out of the Tavistock Clinic, and how this reality that's exposed in the Rape Gang Inquiry Report is in no way an accident. One thing I keep seeing people say is, oh, the government has failed. Sure, if you want to put it one way, the government does accrue to itself monopoly.
Bro, no, the government, bro, there's a lot of these governments out here in the world that actually want to destabilize their social cohesion. They actually want to bring in these immigrants to honestly replace their own people. And I mean, it's obvious in a lot of European countries. Like, let's not sit here and deny it. And this is where this whole Muslim takeover, immigrant takeover comes from, because I'm gonna be real with you. That's the actual reality for a lot of these countries. Like, not a reality for us, but is a reality for them. Like, when you bring in a high number of Muslims, I'm gonna be real with you, you're gonna destabilize the place. And it's not because Muslims are evil, it's just because they come with a different culture, different group of people. People will start mixed breeding. I mean, like, bro, it ain't gonna be a white country no more if that keeps going on. And then when you dump in all these different, because not just Muslims are bringing in, guys. I hope you know this. They're bringing in Africans, Arabs, like Asian, even some Asians. They're bringing them in across the board. A whole lot of Indians as well. Actually, do you want to know what the most, like, you want to know the immigration that happens the most in the UK? From India. But if you listen to what Tommy Robinson, he'll tell you it's Muslims. But no, look up the numbers. It's actually India that has the most immigrants that flood into that country. I know what you're going to say. Well, Indians don't cause problems. Actually, they do cause problems. Actually, they do. They do cause problems. The thing is, though, they're not reported to you guys because the main focus is Muslims. You can go look it up right now of people talking about an Indian invasion, and there's problems with it. But you don't look at that. You don't look at the Jewish invasion going on in New Jersey either. Well, all y'all care about is the Muslims.
Power over physical force. And so they do have a responsibility and an obligation to protect their citizens. So they failed in that regard. But that's not the right way to frame it. They have succeeded wildly in their aims. Their aims are exactly what have happened, and it's impossible for it to be any other way. So much of, what's being talked about in the Rape Gang Inquiry online is framed as if it's, again, a failure of the powers that be, and sort of just like, well, people just don't want to be called racist. And so you have gigantic, industrialized, essentially.
Here's the thing. The problem is that this whole immigration thing is honestly making people racist. And I low-key understand it. I kind of understand it. When your country puts a group of people over yours or over their own people, you're gonna have some animosity towards that people that is the new favorite. It's kind of like the new kid coming into the family. How the older kid kind of has a little bit of animosity towards it because of all the attention it's getting. Same thing with government do with immigrants. You see how they brought in all these immigrants and was giving them, giving these guys hotels when we have a shitload of homeless Americans, giving these guys food cards when we have a whole bunch of Americans and they're going without food, but they can give these undocumented immigrants that. Yeah, do you see where the hatred builds up for that group? And it's a manufactured hatred built by that group because they didn't do nothing. They didn't. Remember, our government did it. Remember, and it's these other governments in Europe and other governments in Europe that's doing it. But where does the blame land? Not on the government that brought them in, not on the government that put on the warmongering policies that caused the refugee crisis that brought them in. No, it falls on the immigrants every single time. And they don't want to be here. They didn't cause their country to be thrown into destabilization. We did, or some other country did. And now they're there. So let's not sit here and just blame them. Let's not sit here and build hatred towards immigrants who are just a victim of foreign policies that sometimes we implement.
Networks of criminals operating with total impunity, that is not explained by simply people not wanting to be called racist, especially not since it started back in the 1950s when people weren't quite so squeamish about being called racist. Actually, didn't have the same power it does now. That's an insufficient explanation for what's going on here. It's a part of it. It's a large part of it, certainly, but it misses the forest for the trees. This is an attack. This is a plan. This is a top-down war being fought against the people of Britain, but also the rest of Europe. And it's absolutely no coincidence that at this very same time, you have a drive to institute digital ID in every European country. The UK banning social media, except for Blue Sky, of course. And if you've been following my work on the War Room here on the Alex Jones Network, or even on Moonbase Live that we do, we've been talking about Blue Sky since before most people even knew what it was, because it was always intended to be what it's becoming. The centralized, the only allowed platform, because it has built into it Chinese-style censorship rules and is absolutely dominated by leftists. It's not a coincidence that this is happening in every European nation all at once at exactly the same time, or that it has been happening for the last 70 years to every European nation at exactly the same time and in exactly the same way. So we're going to be...
Here's the thing, though. I do understand how, I guess the white nationalist guys like to overly harp on it. But, I mean, here's the thing, is that it's y'all policies, y'all warmongering policies who brought these refugees or these immigrants into y'all country. And here's the thing, they'll sit there and complain about the immigrants while still supporting the same foreign policy that bring those immigrants in their country. So that's why I don't really feel bad for a lot of these guys, especially the Republicans here. I mean, they bitch about immigrants, but you guys are still supporting war in the Middle East that causes refugees, that makes them come over here. So all this bitching y'all doing, but y'all are still pretty much creating the funnel that brings the immigrants here. Like, let's be real here, guys. Like, man, it's both sides. I ain't even gonna do the whole left and right thing. It's both sides that do that bullshit.
Breaking that down and getting into the history of it and how or what we could possibly do to achieve justice. Again, if such a thing is even possible, when something is so evil and has gone on for so long, I'm not even sure if justice is even something we can try to achieve.
Hey, shout out to my man Tommy Beal for sending a star for 2 jewels. Appreciate the support, my man.
We'll get into it. We'll try to figure that out, because again, it's not about the individual disturbing aspects of each case. It's about taking them all together and understanding the true scale, scope. Again, I literally don't have words to describe what we're looking at here. It's more like a feeling. It's more like the feeling that you get standing on the edge of a cliff, right? You might not have words to describe the feeling in your gut when you are standing at the edge of a bottomless pit and feeling, the pull towards the abyss. I don't have words for it, but again, it's not about the individual details, the horrors of each individual attack. It's about the systematic, the society-wide coordination that had to occur for this to happen, and the psychological imperative behind it. We'll get into all of that. We'll also, of course, be talking about the memorandum of understanding between America and Iran. It's not a peace deal quite yet. It's another aspect of this Iran conflict. Sort of falls in one of these gray areas. It's not a war, but it's kind of a war. We have peace, but it's not really a peace. And we have ceasefire, but that doesn't mean that we cease firing or anything. It's all a little bit wonky when it comes to the war in Iran, and the memorandum of understanding is no different. We do have some details from it leaked out of Bloomberg, and I'll bring you those. The interesting thing about being gone for a week and not getting to cover all the stories, and actually being up in the mountains and not really having sufficient internet to even keep up with things, when I would check in, it was interesting because so many of the stories that broke over this week were in fact things that we've covered sometimes for years. And so it's tomorrow's news today, right? The Alex Jones Network classic InfoWars saying tomorrow's news today. That it's so true, it's kind of ridiculous. And I have to, like, if you watch us every day and then you go online and you see, these headlines about something being revealed, it must be strange, because it's strange for me to look at this and go, yeah, I talked endlessly about this a week ago or a month ago or 4 years ago or whatever it is. And now it's a big blaring headline and everybody's learning about it. We got to get more people to watch. We would be so ahead of the curve on all of this stuff. Things like in the Rape Gang Inquiry Report, the fact that care homes, orphanages in the UK were essentially being treated as brothels. That story was originally broke originally out of Rotherham all the way back in like 2014. We've been covering it ever since. It's nice to see everybody truly comprehend and understand and really come to terms with what we're actually dealing with here. None of this is new to us, though. We have known this forever. Even the memorandum of understanding and the end of the Iran war was a couple weeks ago. I was reading an article on air on the War Room about Goldman Sachs talking about how basically mid-June was the longest that this conflict could go on without absolutely catastrophic.
Bro, if you read it, it's like they're literally doing it because they're white. Like it's low-key sad and sick. It's like, bro, it says they were taken to houses, flats, restaurants, and hotels, and they were repeatedly raped by groups of men, tortured, filmed for blackmail, and they were told they were white trash and kufars who merit punishment. It's like, oh my God. Many became pregnant while still children. Some miscarried under trauma. Others endured coerced abortions, and some gave birth to children who were later removed by the state. We found that some unspeakable crimes occurred in at least 149 local authority districts, close to 40% of all such districts across the United Kingdom. Oh my God. Yeah, this is bad. This is absolutely terrible. And the thing is, like I said, bro, they was hiding this. The UK government was hiding this. And like I said, this is what I say. They let this stuff go on and then they blame the group. It's like the same like I was saying with immigration. They sit there, want you to hate Muslims, but they're the ones pulling off all the policies to bring them in here. They wanted you to hate Muslims, but they were the ones letting these Muslims get away with this. Like crazy. And like I said, I would hope you'd understand that this don't, make up all Muslims. This is a group that went out there and did these atrocities. But the fact that this was being hidden, that's what makes it so egregious.
About Goldman Sachs talking about how basically mid-June was the longest that this conflict could go on without absolutely catastrophic and devastating domino effects that destroyed the world economy. So I don't know if we can find the clip. I mean, we do so much stuff. It's like it all just gets lost in the mix. But probably a month ago, I sat here and went, oh, okay, so the war's going to be over mid-June. You can put your money on that because that's what Goldman Sachs did. And what do you know? Midway through June, you get a memorandum of understanding. Because when it comes to the Iran war, there's sort of the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. The immovable object in this case is the catastrophic economic effects of shutting down the Strait of Hormuz for so long. And essentially, the greatest economist in America decided that mid-June was the deadline, that things had to get back to normal by the end of June, or else they would suffer. So, you can't let the banks. So we can't have Goldman Sachs suffering after all. We cannot let BlackRock and Vanguard dip even in the slightest. So, of course, the war would be over by mid-June. So there's the economic reality that's undeniable and unavoidable. It has to end at this point, or else it's not just a pointless conflict in which we've gained nothing and spent enormous amounts of money and energy and lives to achieve nothing. It becomes like the destruction of the entire world, a feedback loop of depression that would render America totally destroyed. So that's sort of that would be the immovable object. The unstoppable force is the Greater Israel Project. And not just the desire of Israel, but the necessity for Israel to destroy Iran, to use the impetus that started on October 7th, 2023, to carry that through all the way to utter destruction of Iran, to leave it totally destroyed like another Syria or another Iraq.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to leave it completely destabilized. They wanted to be split up into 3 different factions, all fighting for power, forever destabilized and forever at the mercy of Israel. Like, that's what they wanted out of Iran. Because it didn't get that, that's why you got Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro crashing out.
Another place, the only acceptable outcome of this, according to Israel, is an Iran that is incapable of responding to antagonization, whatever, to being attacked. That's the only possible positive and really existential result for them. Yeah, here it is. Goldman team led by Dan Stroyven said in a note published late Monday that it now expects exports through the Strait of Hormuz to normalize around pre-war levels around the end of July rather than...
Hold on. Wait, what? Bro, tell me why an interview just came out with JD Vance on the Diary of a CEO. Like, bro, Like literally, like right here, just like came out like an hour ago. Should we watch it? I'll let you guys decide. Man, one's in the chat if we should watch it. That's hilarious.
In August, although given the report acknowledges there's still risks to this assumption, in part owing to the trend of the last few months when President Trump made repeated claims on the cusp of a deal only for negotiations to stutter and the crisis to continue. This one's a little bit different. This one is different. There is the economic reality that this cannot go much longer. We have to basically accept where we are now and make the deal while we can. And people are saying the deal is worse than the deal that Obama originally made. That's a headline on Drudge Report. We'll get into whether it is or not. But the reality for Israel is that they have turned everybody against them here in America, especially the younger generations.
True.
It might not be this go around, but within 10 years, as frankly, the boomers die off and the reality, the truth about Israel continues to break through.
Yeah, and their wars like keep up the cost of living for us younger generations. So of course we're going to have a little bit of ill will towards Israel. I mean, your wars have done nothing but make things harder on the younger generation. So of course you guys are going to lose the youth eventually, bro. Most of our problems are brought on by your warfare in the Middle East, by y'all constant, meddling in our affairs. Well, not in our affairs, but in our politics. Let's just keep it real here. Of course, we're going to lose the youth. We're going to catch on eventually. Well, you're just going to think you're going to be generation of Americans that's just going to fall for the bullshit? No, one of us is going to catch on eventually. Shout out to Gen Z.
The mainstream media cordon, the mainstream media dam, keeping back the truth. Social media circumvents that. They're doing everything they can to buy up social media to silence that. And I think that's a main part of the digital ID push as well. We'll get into all of that, but they are going to be destroyed if they don't become a superpower that is the sole superpower in the Middle East. That's the ultimate goal. That's what they've been pushing for ever since the attack by Hamas on Israel and the genocide in Gaza. They've destroyed their reputation. They've made that gamble on the bet that they would be able to take out Iran with Donald Trump using American forces, take out Iran, and then it would all be worth it. And then, okay, everybody hates Israel, but who cares? They're a monolithic superpower in the Middle East. And this is what Benjamin Netanyahu has said. This is what Israelis of all, stripes in positions of power have said is their goal. And again, it's not just a goal. It's like they've gone all in. They've bet the house on this. If they don't get it, if they don't destroy Iran, if we go back to a situation in which Iran is able to build up and is actually, get some of the sanctions removed and its economy gets to really, expand even more. And I mean, it's unacceptable. So I don't think Israel's going to accept this. The reaction from the Israeli firsters out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. The reaction from the Israeli firsters is a bit concerning. One, because it shows you how they're quick to turn on and jump on a dime when it comes to Israel. And then two, is like, how far are they willing to go to sabotage this deal? And how much of propaganda are you willing to push to make Americans feel like this is a bad deal, even though it's within our best interest to end this war immediately?
There is absolute outrage, and they're apoplectic. It's actually kind of hilarious. They're the panicans now. They're the panicans. They're no longer MAGA. They all hate Trump all of a sudden, which is typical and, obvious that this was always going to happen, that they were going to basically criticize you for daring to suggest that Trump was making a mistake here and basically say that you have to submit to Trump's will and their will unquestioningly, or else you're a panican. You're a leftist. You might as well be AOC if you disagree with their approach on Israel. And now suddenly they're the ones criticizing Trump and saying,
even though AOC supports Israel, by the way, this is hilarious because she says she don't support Israel, but she did vote to send weapons to Israel to, bomb Palestinians. So no, AOC isn't actually against Israel. And that's the problem with Dems. Like I said, I kind of respect the Republicans when it comes to their, support for Israel because they're so vociferous about it. They're out loud. They don't try to hide it. The Dems, yeah, they try to hide it. But they expose themselves through their voting.
What a bad thing this deal is and how he's betrayed them. And they basically turned on him completely, which was always the predictable outcome. And I don't understand how Trump didn't know that, or maybe he did and he's doing it anyway. We'll go through it. But essentially, Israel cannot let this stand. They cannot have peace with Iran, and they're not going to. So no matter what, if this memorandum of understanding becomes a honest to God peace deal, it's going to be, no matter what, a pause. It's just a pause at the end of the day, because the tactical reality of Israel is that up to this point, they have spent all of their reputation overseas. They've spent all of their goodwill. They've ruined their reputation worldwide. And what have they gotten in return? A little sliver of Gaza, a little chunk of Syria.
Yeah.
Taken over for the time, a couple villages in Lebanon. Is that worth it? Do you think that's worth it? It will only be worth it if Israel is entirely in their hands, including Gaza and the West Bank, if they get the Golan Heights.
Expanded their borders. Bro, they expanded their borders when nobody in the Middle East has. So, Israel should be happy. They was able to take other people's land and get away with it. They was able to break international law and commit war crimes and get away with it. They should just walk away while they're winning. But all right, let's get into this JD Vance real quick. I kind of do want to see what this is on about.
The Biden administration just really screwed up our immigration policy in a profoundly dangerous way.
But even if you agree that immigration is a problem, it seems division is the most compelling narrative for politicians. I remember this particular quote about...
Hey, and shout out to my man User. He says, what's your prediction on the fragility and longevity of the deal? Will the backlash cause Trump to renege? I'm hoping not. Honestly, though, nah, I don't think it will. I think Trump is pretty firm in his position, and he don't want to take most of the heat. So I think that's why he sent JD out there. And I think JD went out there gladly, because I think they know the plan they're doing. I think this was a plan by Trump and JD. JD, you go out there, you're going to take the brunt of this, and I'm going to push it through. Because we all know that Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin, Randy Fine, the rest of them don't want this deal to happen. And the only way to stop it, to stop these guys from running off whatever propaganda, is to get out there first. So my prediction is that it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight to get this ceasefire through. It's literally going to be, honestly, us versus the Israeli lobby for the next 60 days, guys. It's going to be us versus Israel. And they're going to try everything in their power. They're going to start pushing more Muslim hate propaganda. They're going to start pushing more anti-IRGC propaganda. They're going to create another fake hoax. Watch. The dead protesters are going to go from 40,000 to 100,000. They're going to start pulling all the cards to get us out this deal. So I can't really say how long the deal is going to last. I can only tell you that, bro, they're going to be putting maximum pressure to get this deal to go under. And I'm not sure if Trump will allow it. I'm not sure if Trump is going to be listening to it, because at this point, we can't go back to kinetic strikes. It's not within our best interest. We have no escalation dominance and we're running low on munitions. So this is our best bet. This is one of our only ways to actually get out of this without looking like